Or don't go live. You do your iPad. Oh. Now we're live on Instagram.
Wonderful.
We're streaming on Instagram. We like word life. Don't ask me what I'm on. I'm on like 4 hours of sleep this whole week.
Word Life and Snoop, you're on a rap kick at the moment.
Also, since The Rock mentioned Baywatch on wrestling, it's been on FX like every night this week.
Really? No surprise there.
He was probably like, "Oh, look, I'm gonna mention it. Some stupid channel will put it on, and I'll make money off of it."
Oh, 100%.
You think that less people watch it now that he mentioned it? Was there a way for lesser people to watch something after somebody mentions it?
I mean, probably.
I thought it was an okay movie. Like,
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
it could have been a lot worse. Like,
It definitely could have been worse.
so for dinner tonight, I did Purdue chicken cutlet in the air fryer, cooked it, took it out, put it in a bowl with some hot sauce, like buffalo sauce, Frank's buffalo sauce, put it back in the air fryer, cooked it, took it out of air fryer and put it on like a hoagie type roll,
Right.
put some American cheese on it, and then put it back in the air fryer.
That's a really good idea.
I fucked up though. I did
What?
mess it up though. I will admit it.
Why'd you fuck it?
I put the cheese on the bread and then put the chicken on top of the bread on top of the cheese instead of instead of taking it out, putting the bread on the chicken on the bread and then put the cheese on top and then put it back in. So it was kind of like the cheese was on the bread instead of melted down onto the cheese should have been in the middle when you make the sandwich.
Where did you put the cheese?
So bread, slices of cheese, and then the chicken was on top of the cheese, and then I put it into the air fryer. So it was melted underneath the chicken because I had
Oh
the
no,
two
you gotta
halves.
flip it so the cheese is going like this on top of the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. What
So
you're
that way it melts on top of the chicken instead of melting on the
Correct.
bread, and then it's just chicken on top of it.
Correct. But I know I'm 100% with you on Purdue frozen chicken food and air fryers. It's a wonderful
So
combination.
it started with the chicken nuggets we got for Braden,
Okay.
and I just was like, I saw him in the fridge, and I was like, okay. And then the next day I was coming home from work, and I was like, I'm gonna get some hot sauce.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cook them, get them heated, take them out, drench them in the sauce, and then put them back in. And it made it crispier with the sauce.
Okay. I gotta try that. I don't get I get like the it's not really a cutlet, it's like a more like a tender. It's not nugget and
Yeah,
it's not a
it comes
cutlet.
in a cutlet, that comes in a tender, it comes in nuggets, it
Yeah,
comes in
so I get
different.
the tenders. And then I'll just heat them up and eat them like that. Or I'll make like a wrap sometimes, just chop them up with some cheese, same
You know
thing.
what I did? The
Make a
cutlets
wrap.
one night. Braden was over. They were eating their stuff, but I took mine and I cut up the cutlets and I had pasta.
Yeah,
Threw it in a
same
bowl with pasta.
salad, same thing.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Very versatile. Good stuff. I like it.
Apparently, Costco sells like a giant bag of them, by the way.
Oh God.
Or
Here's
BJ's.
this is a funny thing. My dad always went to BJ's. I don't know if I've ever set foot in a Costco.
You know what's funny? Where is there a Costco on Long Island other than like Lawrence?
There's one in my area. I gotta look.
Oh, there's one in
one
Westbury.
close
There's
to
one
where I
next to the
live.
Walmart
Yeah.
in Westbury.
Right. I knew there's one close, but the BJ's is by Best Buy, so it was just closer. So that's the one he went to.
Right.
And then it was also a BJ's by the movie theater we used, also in Westbury, by the it's the race Stadium 12, I think it's called. It's by Westbury Music Fair, whatever they call that now.
Oh, that one. Okay, I know.
Yeah.
Riveting podcasting. Let's
Riveting
podcast
movie
thing.
theater talk. I mean, it's
Episode 382, home fries. Can I just state on record to start the show?
nope.
It's always great to do. That we, Michigan, are national fucking champions, baby. No matter how shitty the New York Islanders play every night, it doesn't take away that I am a national fucking champion.
Congratulations to you, sir, and the Michigan Wolverines, and John Harbaugh.
Tom
Harbaugh.
texted me.
And John
Apostle
Harbaugh.
texted me.
All the Harbaughs.
Mainly Jack, because he's amazing. His dad. The father is the best.
So I saw somebody tweet where they were just like, "Why is Harbaugh's dad just look like an older version of him?" And I was like, "Do you not know how this works?"
Do you not know genetics?
I mean, they look really alike. Like it's like sometimes you get your mom and your dad. They are their dad. Like they all look very, but it's just strange.
Jim actually looks more like their mom. If you actually look at her, there's a little bit more of her to him. And John definitely looks more like Jack.
Him.
But I will tell you this. At 11 p.m., well, in Houston, it was probably like 10 p.m., so it's okay. But when this man is on a national championship stage yelling out, "Who has it better than us?" on ESPN, there's nothing better.
No, that was a pretty good performance.
I have a good question for when Danny joins us a little bit later, though. I'll let you think about it. So don't answer this now.
Okay.
2019 LSU versus the 2023 Michigan Wolverines. Don't answer it now. Think about it. We'll get back to it. We'll go back to it later. But that was like the best team. And you know what else happened? You know what else this team did?
Like my answer.
You know what else this team did that nobody else was able to do? Retired Nick Saban. Single-handedly retired Nick Saban.
Just murdered Nick Saban.
You know,
he's got to be. I'm very interested about his reasoning.
You know what the crazy thing is? Did you hear the stat that this is the longest Alabama has ever gone under him without winning a national championship? It's been 3 years. And this is the longest drought they had without a national championship under Nick Saban.
That feels not possible.
Right?
Because, at the beginning,
they won that first year. Let's see. Let's go to the Wikipedia page.
I'm pulling up his sports reference page.
Okay, he got there in 2007. Okay?
And
2009, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017, 2020.
Okay, so they were.
Danny, was this the craziest stat ever?
I don't like this angle, man. What's going on? What?
You don't like to zoom in? We'll zoom out.
One? There we go. We zoomed down.
I was like, whoa. So what's up?
You look less black and white.
I found one of the craziest stats ever is that this 3-year drought is the longest Alabama has gone without a national championship under Nick Saban.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, the first 3 years, so it was 2 years, and then the third one they won, and then a loss.
Right, 2 years to get his team in there. To get his team and his system in there.
Pretty much.
Then he beat Colt McCoy for the first one.
What? Why? Yeah. Record adjust. Oh, something must have happened.
Okay,
Vacated
so
game.
Danny, I told Vin he's got to think about this, and it's only been a couple minutes, but I'm going to ask you because I know you watch more college football than Vin. 2019 LSU versus the 2023 Michigan Wolverines.
Come on. I knew this was coming. I knew it.
It's honestly a question I heard today, and it really made me think about it because that's arguably one of the best offenses we've ever seen.
I mean,
college football wise.
Do you realize I watched the highlights from that game the other day?
No.
They had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, dude.
They had the two best receivers in the NFL and a top 3 NFL quarterback.
And
Randy Moss's son.
And
that's just cool.
Randy Moss's son. Oh yeah,
he's not great.
And who was the running back on that team?
Charles Hilaire.
It's just okay. The only benefit they have is that Harbaugh would coach O had to do a paper bag.
Yes, that would be the only. But that's the only. That's the only thing.
I think
their defense was, even though
it would be a close game.
Patrick Queen is
I don't know, Steve. That team was that team made teams look like they never.
It's one of those things that when NCAA 24 is released, they need to have old school teams and let those two teams.
I think.
Well, let that be the demo game. Let that be the demo game that comes out 3 weeks early.
That was one of my favorite teams to watch in a long time. Like you got them, the early 2000s the Alabama
from 19 team was just
that's what I'm saying. Like those are some of the greatest teams, and then you got the USC.
But there wasn't a team Michigan played this entire year.
Oh yeah,
that scored over 25 points. That's why I think it could be such a close game.
It could be, but let's face it, you guys didn't face Joe Burrow this year.
You didn't face an NFL quarterback this season. That's just Michael Penix is the closest thing.
Well, depending where he goes. You could say that about anybody, but really for him, it's wherever he goes. If it's going to be a good spot.
You can't say anything about anybody in the Pac-12.
I still think.
No.
See, I said to somebody at work, they were asking me about Penix, and I said the perfect snenario is Denver or Minnesota for him.
Right. No,
let him sit behind Russ. Let him sit behind.
Not even.
Let him sit behind Russ. Let him sit behind Cousins, because Cousins already said he wants to come back for a hometown discount next year.
Russ is.
The thing with him as well is he doesn't have he's also 24 years old.
Yeah, he can't.
So he has to go get start from Jump Street.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. And I'm not taking anything away from this year's Michigan team, but the eye test of watching both teams on a weekly basis, the defense is very good and very stout, but the guys that LSU team had was just it was like a cheat code. Being able to score that many.
The part is that they do compare. When you look at the Washington offense, going into that game, a lot of the talk about the Washington offense was being compared to what could be, not the numbers, of course,
right?
But similarity, long-term wise, you may look back and say, "Wow, that Washington team was stacked."
No, yeah, for sure. I think at the end of the day, like we said last week, and it wasn't a secret, was that Michigan got the running game going. They scored 4 rushing touchdowns. So they
second play of the game went.
And they weren't on the ones. Those were all right. We called this.
Edwards waited for this game, and it's the perfect game to finally show up all year.
Yeah,
not saying that he had a bad season.
Credit to us, we all 3 of us said this was the year for Michigan. If it wasn't this year, it isn't gonna. Right. We're all right, this is the year. If not, I don't know. Especially with the more with the
more teams next year.
Yeah. So
Danny, you would know the answer to this.
That LSU team scored 36 points at least in every game but one. They beat Auburn 23-8. That was the only game.
Okay.
What was the semifinal game score?
I sorted it by points. I gotta sort it by game again. They beat Oklahoma 63-28. And then they beat Clemson
Oklahoma.
42-20.
Yeah, no, Joe Burrow had like 4 touchdowns to Jefferson or Chase
in like the
like
first quarter.
the first half. Yeah,
In the semifinal game,
yeah,
it's 4 to Jefferson in the first half. Yeah.
yeah.
Those games weren't fair.
No, they
playing.
weren't, and like that was
No.
my point. That Oklahoma team was not equivalent.
That was
to a
Jalen
good team.
too.
Yeah,
And CD Lamb. Wow, that was a good team.
yeah.
Wasn't
They
very
brought
good.
Oklahoma
Jalen
team.
in for that 1 year. Yeah,
Right. Joe Burrow threw for 493 yards and 7 touchdowns.
and scoring 28 points is no slouch. Like they played all right.
Correct.
Yeah, but when did they score the 28
And then I
points? When it was the
remember
fourth
in the-
quarter and all the third string guys were in the game.
Oh, hold on. Let
And
me
then
see
in
what.
the finals, they were down a couple scores, and then they came back, and Joe Burrow just said,
Yeah.
"Forget this."
It
Listen,
was.
that entire game Monday night
It was 49 to
close
14
game.
at half.
until the end.
Yeah,
Until the end of that, until the fourth quarter, that was a close game, and Washington could have. And at any moment, there were
No,
3 or
of
4
course.
plays in that game where Washington could have flipped the switch and it could have won this title. 100%.
Right.
Early in
No.
early in the first half, they had a wide open play. They were not hitting play, and they kept saying it on the broadcast. Herbstreit kept saying it. Washington's not hitting plays that they hit the week before,
yeah. Penix,
and that was the difference.
Like it was funny. I was listening to First Draft by Kuiper, and he's like, "Well, majority before the championship game, he was going to be a mid-first rounder. Now he could fall to like 3rd or 4th." I'm like, "Well, that's pretty steep."
This is why nobody listens to Mel Kiper. Remember
No,
when
that's
like
what I'm
the Mel
saying, like,
Kiper
that-
mock would drop?
Yeah.
Like that was like the greatest moment of our
Yeah.
year. Like
I was like, "That's
You
pretty big of a drop." No,
I remember, I only wanted to get ESPN magazine so I could have the free
For Mel
insiders
Kiper, yeah.
just for the Mel Kiper Jr. mock draft to come
Right.
out.
I
That
just
was
want
the
to say
reasoning.
this really
I
quick.
had that.
I have to say this because it's just so absurd. In 15 games, Joe Burrow threw for 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, and 6 picks. That's ridiculous.
and the crazy thing about it is
He had a 200 passer rate. I didn't even know it was a thing.
he was a. He,
Oh,
the
pass
thing
efficiency
is,
rate was something
it was like now or never with him, obviously, because he
Yeah.
was
Right.
transferred, and it's like, when is this guy gonna show up? And then like it
He
just
showed
like
the fuck up.
clicked. He showed up, and you're like, okay,
So I'm
Hey.
taking the LSU team. Sorry.
and it's not taking anything.
I just feel like with the
one of the
time,
legacy
it's going to
teams.
be a lot closer than people would expect it to be,
I don't know about that.
especially with the defense. It's going to really
That Clemson
suck
team was like a
next year when
national
Mason Graham
championship
or in 2 years from now when the
juggernaut
Eagles
that
end
they
up
beat.
getting Mason Graham to replace the current Graham they have.
The
It's going to
Eagles
really suck.
are a hot mess.
The script is written for them to win the Super Bowl. You do not realize that.
Is it? No.
Go
Like
to
I
Tampa.
texted Danny this the first time you guys played them. I was like, that team.
We should have won
stinks.
that game.
Yeah. Can I be honest with something? The Giants would have been a lot better off if Tommy DeVito was like French or from some other country.
State.
Yeah. His name was Tommy Smith. They probably would have been a lot better off this season.
Yeah,
I said, you know what's funny? I said
that's
this.
the thing.
Imagine they let him throw the ball against the Jets, like instead of just handing it
Yeah.
off 800 times in that game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he had a couple of passes that he threw that were bad, but like it was,
But it was
also
also a
extremely
monsoon.
wet. Right.
It
They
was-
also
it was a
played in a
bad day.
monsoon. But like a couple of those drives, like a little check down plays to tight ends and Barkley, who knows how that game would have played out. And
Well, that
you know,
game, we didn't know that Gano was hurt, but he was. We knew he was hurt, so it was just like,
we let him
okay.
play in the monsoon hurt. So, you know.
That's when we should have ran the ball the extra time, and then whatever. I'm not getting into it, but
And I'm telling you now,
Um,
Nick Saban retired so he could come be the defensive coordinator for the Giants. Clearly,
pick him up. Pick him up.
Can you imagine we found out Nick Saban became the
But
Dave all calls his boy Nick, be like, "Yo, you want to come? Don't be a head coach, just come be a defensive coordinator. You only
Like-
got to worry about the defense."
I think that's the funniest thing about Tank Crew was like, oh, DeVito won those games, but he didn't. Like all 3 games were just like, oh, thank God the defense got 4 picks and a fumble and everything, and he got the ball like in the red zone. Like the Giants, like were never gonna win half of those games if it was just like, all right, thank God for that defense as we saw. But Back to your thing, Vin. Come on, man. We need you to win this one. It's going to be a tough task. You're not stopping CeeDee Lamb and Dak at home. But,
Excuse me, he has the
but
prophet
McCarthy,
is back.
The prophet's
is
back, Danny.
The prophet is back.
DJ
Daniel. What do
Moore
you mean
did
they're not going to
nothing
stop
on
CeeDee?
Sunday.
the prophet is back. He's a fan, by the way.
What?
No, the video where he like the news.
Oh yeah, he's a fan. That was so funny.
So.
Fucking idiot. It's very funny. He came back. He was like, he goes, I think everybody saw the clip because they were talking about McAfee. He was like, I think my interviews are going to be more serious from now on. He did an interview post game with a cigar in his hair, and then he did that interview. So he doesn't give a shit. And again, I don't give a shit. Just cover CeeDee Lamb. It's very hard to do. You got more than enough on your plate. Just do that. I tweeted it. Today is the anniversary of the Rodgers' first playoff game against the Cardinals, which is the highest scoring player in NFL history. I would love just that again.
Was that the at Miller's game?
The what?
Was that the game we were at Miller's?
No, so that was 2015. This is 2009, the first playoff game he ever played. They lost to the Cardinals.
Kurt Warner, yeah.
I think it was
the fumble.
He fumbled flash, it got intercepted or whatever in overtime after they missed a wide open play.
That game was so epic.
But yeah, it was a crazy fucking game. So again, you want to run a shootout like that with them, I'm all for it, and then lose so they can get rid of the defensive coordinator and give Mike Vrabel all the money in the world.
I mean, he's going to New England.
I know he's going to New England.
He's going to New England. Wink is going to Philly.
He's part of the friend group, though, I think, with Saleh and McVay and the guys. So bring him in.
So what you're saying is he's going to say, oh, you want me to coach Aaron Donald in Los Angeles?
Well,
okay, I'm coming LA.
That's honestly what I was thinking of. If Saleh would have gotten fired, like, does he go to San Francisco? Does he go to LA? Does he go to the Packers? She's got friends everywhere.
Well, and he has enough kids that he has to do it.
He's got to have a job. Yeah, I don't.
What about Vrabel to the Jets to be the defensive coordinator?
No shot. He's just
he's going to be a coach wherever. Like, it's not going to be long. He's definitely going to be a head coach.
But that's the thing. He's going to be a head coach, right? So then I think that squashes the whole New England thing, unless Bill is bailing right now.
Yeah, they said midweek interview, another interview with the three of them. So
who?
Belichick and the Krabs.
Bill.
Oh, okay.
So the other thing was, the other big coach news was Pete Carroll,
which it seems like they said he's gonna stay in the organization.
Right, in the front office.
There was a clip from his press conference today that kind of sounded like, I'll stay here, but I'm going to go see if somebody wants me first. I'm going to hang out, but I'm going to see. I'm a Seahawk, but if somebody wants me, my phone's on, type of thing.
I think with Pete Carroll at his age, and I'm not being ageist, it's like it's at the back nine. He's still good at what he is, and he's still young enough at his age to be a good coach. But like now it's starting to like, I don't see him getting that next head coaching job unless someone's like,
you know where would actually be a good
away.
Spot? You know where would be a good spot is Tennessee. Young quarterback gets to bring in his system. Has some players on that team.
Pete's more of a defensive guy.
He is a defensive guy. He is.
Let's go to the Vegas.
72. He will be. Yeah, he's 72. His birthday's in September. So he'll be 73 at the start of next season. It's tough to start over. I think he just goes into a front office thing in Seattle, and that's kind of it.
Or is he going to Bama?
No. Who are they going to fucking hire?
Literally anybody they want.
You would think, right? Like they could even
how excited is the University of Texas?
Dion, see, this is what I would do.
Think of Dion.
Call Dion.
You imagine if Alabama the commercials write themselves with
I didn't
Affleck.
even think of that.
You imagine
Uh,
this circus
he
Alabama would be?
he is praying that with what's his name leaving FSU, they have the worst year ever, and don't win any games, so that way he can go running
What
to
was
be a
like
Seminole.
somebody I saw tweeted Kirby Smart, and I was like, "Is they're gonna poach someone from
Ooh.
Georgia?"
Mm,
I don't think
that
Kirby would leave Georgia, but you know
I don't
who's
think he
the
would either.
who's
But
the AM
that
who's the A&M guy who just got fired, Danny?
Jimbo.
People are hinting, why not? What's his face from Old Miss, Lane? That would be a good
It
one.
was. What about an interesting name? Sucked in the NFL as a head coach. Josh McDaniels, Belichick guy, knows Saban through Belichick.
No,
Could try and look at Lane. Sucked in the pros. Not half
Yeah.
bad in
To be
college,
fair with
making
the
money in
pros,
college.
that was the Raiders being the Raiders, and it was
yeah.
Right. No, 100%. But still
McDaniels
wasn't good.
McDaniels is a douchebag.
I'm talking about Lane Kiffin.
I know he was brought up McDaniels before though.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of the lines of like, okay, it wasn't working in the pros. Why don't you go if you want to be a head coach, why not go test it out in college?
Let's face it, any big name in college is available. We've seen it before, so
Right, what I'm saying, but like, how high up could they poach? Like,
This could also be just a transition year for them for a coach. So
Yeah.
you could bring in a McDaniels and say, just think about it. A lot of times when it comes to college, when a coach is leaving or being fired, you already have the next guy signed.
but he's
Just-
retired.
yeah.
But he just retired. He's just like,
He just
you don't know if he may have told them a week ago that he was doing this. You don't know that. You know, he could have told them a week ago, but he could have also said, "All right, I thought about it after."
They could have known the whole time.
Right, he could have
I
said
doubt
before
it.
the season that was the end of it.
I doubt that he knew the whole time, but I mean, that they knew the whole time.
I
But
can't see Georgia not giving Kirby as much money as he wants.
That's what I'm
he's
saying,
also
like-
from. He's also from. He played at Georgia, so he ain't leaving.
right, I don't. It's just I saw the name and I was like, it struck me that
Another
people
name that
thought
came up with Dable
someone
leave
that
the
high
Giants
could
to go
be
coach
coached.
Alabama.
Yeah, that was like
Like-
a 1%. Yeah, that was. He was joking 1%.
Wink.
Was that you who texted me that?
What?
Wink.
He's
Wink.
going to Philly. He's already
No,
he's
he's
already
100%
planning the
going to
defensive
Philly.
coach.
Yeah, he's already
He's
there.
already
He's gonna
planning
be
to be the defensive
He might be
He's
coordinator.
gonna
their
be a
head coach at this
consultant.
rate.
Right, he may get their head coaching job.
Fucking
man.
Sirianni doesn't know.
I'll tell you this: if he doesn't get a head coaching job, the defensive coach replacement I want is Antonio Pierce to come home.
Good luck with that.
I mean, I
He's
want
going for a
more.
head coach. He has an interview with somebody this week. I forgot who I saw. He's interviewing somewhere for a head coaching job. One of the openings.
What are the openings?
Tennessee.
Carolina, Tennessee, Seattle, Atlanta,
Right. Atlanta.
Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers.
Raiders,
Washington.
of course. Washington.
Raiders and Washington.
Sure, Washington.
And TBD on New England.
Okay, so that's like what 6, 7.
7, my friend.
Yeah, so like, I don't know if I. It's so hard because like there are only 32 jobs. But if I was Antonio Pierce, I wouldn't take any of the fucking-
Titans put in the request to interview Pierce today.
I don't.
They're
that's
just
the
going to
whole-
interview everybody they
But you're
can.
starting over there. You know Henry's leaving. You don't have a quarterback. You're starting over.
I like Levis.
I don't know.
Where are they? They're picking late. They're picking mid round, right?
They're probably picking like 10.
Yeah, they're
How many
like
years in a row can you? How many years in a row? The Jets are 10. I know that. How many years in a
Yeah.
row can you draft a
Top-
quarterback though?
whatever one of the last playoff spots, non-playoff spots are.
They
How
have to
many
be
what?
like 15.
Yeah. What was your question?
How many years in a row can you trade up for a quarterback or make a move for a quarterback?
They only did it this one time, I thought.
No, back years. It was Malik Willis.
Oh, I forgot. But that was
They
like
took
second
Malik
round,
Willis
wasn't it?
late,
Like
thinking
fourth.
he had a
picking
rehab to
7th.
get.
The Titans are picking 7th.
Oh,
Really?
behind us.
Yeah, right behind you.
It's so funny.
Still a lot
After
higher.
6, I don't care.
Yeah. Giants, Tennessee,
good. We
Atlanta,
can take their
Chicago
guy.
Jets. So they
could
could fucking draft Michael Penix if they wanted.
So Walter Football's mock as of today has Kleb, May from North Carolina,
Jaden
Daniels, LSU going at 3, Harrison Jr. 4, Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, at 5 with the Chargers because
which is
they
crazy to me. But
they are known for building. Well, you're gonna give the quarterback a weapon. That's what you're gonna do. I still think Keenan Allen becomes a free agent or gets cut and re-signed for a lot less money.
They have so much more problems than fucking weapons.
Neighbors, the wideout from
LSU.
LSU for the Giants.
Right? Like I like that pick for you guys.
Alt, the tight end, the
Tackle.
Notre
He's a
Dame
beast.
for the tight ends.
Their
Dallas
O-line
Turner.
was really bad. So, say again.
Then they have with the Falcons is Dallas Turner,
Okay.
outside linebacker. Azun, the wideout from Washington at 9.
Anduze, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
I'm not even gonna pronounce.
The other tackle.
Feshu is the
Feshu.
offensive
I think
tackle.
it's pretty much that. Oh, Feshu.
And then you go Wiggins,
Penn
the
State tackle.
Clemson cornerback, the other wide receiver from LSU to Denver at 12. The Raiders get the BYU tackle. Latu, the defensive end from UCLA to the Saints. Arnold, cornerback from Bama at 15. Chris Jenkins, the defensive tackle from Michigan, going at 16.
Chris Jenkins Jr.
Yo, there's a
And then I think it's the playoff team. Right?
Alabama
Yeah,
named
Jacksonville.
Kool-Aid. I need this guy.
Nope. I went the junior that's in Indiana to be on the top school. I want to see Kirk Herbstreit screaming that guy's name out.
Oh,
You
God.
see,
Talk-
RG3 interviewed his family.
They did an interview with the whole family.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It was hilarious. It was oddly enough he was eating during the interview, which was weird.
Cooper DeJean. white
Interesting
corner.
that he does not.
No.
Walter Football does not have Penix in the first round.
That's
I'm
what
looking at
saying.
one that
It's-
has him going to Minnesota at 11.
He's gonna be that guy. He's gonna be that guy this year. Like, oh, what are we
He's
doing?
either going to be sitting in the green room a long time or he's going to get picked early.
I don't like realistically, and I know this is probably it's common, but it's like half the league that is uncertain because like there's no reason the Seahawks, even though they have Geno, can't take a quarterback. There's no reason
They're
the
going to
fucking
need
Rams,
the guy for after Geno at
can't-
this point.
right? They're gonna need the Rams are gonna need a guy for after Stafford. So it's like there's a lot of options.
The Walter Football has Penix to the Vikings in the second round.
Okay, so
So if he falls down that far, that's where it would be.
is JJ coming out?
They didn't make it
Hasn't
official
been
yet.
announced yet, but I don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
Well,
Right.
because he stinks. That's why.
I was gonna say my favorite. First off,
Saying
screw
he
the
stinks.
NFL.
He's not an NFL quarterback. This is just
When he
I
gets
did
drafted
wanna
by the
know
Bears
why-
and
I
get,
can't
and just
believe how-
defeats
Sorry, go.
when
Go
he's
ahead.
a bear and just destroys the Packers every year, Vin's gonna cry.
See,
Or he gets drafted by the Lions and stays in Michigan with Hutchinson, and they just run wild on the NFC North every year.
I'm still perplexed that Holly Rowe brought up that he brushes his teeth with the opposite hand to get the neurological
I
treatment going. And I go,
The shit these people come up, please find out. Like
You know,
The best
there's a lot of
was-
franchises.
I saw a side by side of the KC quarterback from like Super Bowl 1 or Super Bowl 2 smoking the cigarette at halftime with JJ with the psychiatrist on on the sideline at halftime during this game, and people were like, "Wow, the game has really changed." The craziest thing, and I said this, and I keep saying this, like, am I the only one that noticed that Jim walked up to John Harbaugh like right before a down and just gave him a hug, like right on the sideline, like right smack in the middle of a play? He's just like, "Hey, bro." Like,
Is that legal?
that's what I'm saying. Like, how is that allowed?
Like, why doesn't he just be there? Why don't they just both coach? At that point, what's stopping him?
Well, they did say Jim got stuck with weather getting there, so it delayed him getting there. So he probably didn't see him before the game, but still, like, it's like the second quarter, and you're about to run like a third down play, and your brother is just like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Go in the press box with everybody else. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the you joked that JJ McCarthy would go to somewhere in the division. I mean,
It's the rest of the division needs quarterbacks
history says it's not going to work out for them if they get a quarterback. That's just,
until they
people
trade
were
that
curious
quarterback away.
about how Matt LaFleur would look without a good quarterback.
And-
I guess
and
we'll never know.
The craziest thing is,
Shut the fuck up, man.
I
Guess
mean,
we'll never
I can't believe
know.
you just did the Kanye thing.
I guess we'll never know.
I can't believe he just pulled the Kanye thing out.
I said to Danny, Danny and I were texting about the Mets earlier, and he said, "I don't know why we like sports." And I said, "Well, sometimes the magic happens, maybe even some love." And I said to Jordan, "Love give." Sometimes things happen you don't expect.
Did Matt LaFleur put himself as a finalist for Coach of the Year by making the playoffs with this team?
I think he should be up there, but
I mean, it's going to be hard to beat the guy in Cleveland or or Houston or Ryan in Houston.
Right.
But I think he should
the
be
youngest roster in the league.
I think he should 0 Pro Bowlers.
Zero Pro Bowl.
I think he should definitely at least
I don't
be
know
a
if they do
conversation.
finalists, but he should be one.
Also, I just looked. I was saying, we were talking at work how it's pretty stupid that the Lions are banning Matthew Stafford jerseys this weekend. Because if it wasn't for him, your franchise probably would have been even deeper in the gutter.
If you're a Lion fan, what other? So it's just Calvin Johnson jerseys and Aiden Hutchinson jerseys. That's the only thing you're allowed to wear, and Barry Sanders. That's it. There's 3 people. Like, who else would you have
Wasn't
bought?
Dan Campbell there for like 10 minutes, Danny?
He
Wasn't
was.
Dan
But
Campbell
who else would you, over the past 20 years? Who else would you have bought?
Dan Campbell, because he's your coach now.
Megatron.
That's what I'm saying. Calvin.
Roy Williams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Carlos Rogers, one of the other fucking receivers they drafted. I don't know.
What was it? 3 years in a row they drafted a receiver in the top 10.
John Kitna.
Yeah, it was Carlos. I think it was Carlos Rogers was his name.
Yeah.
And then Roy Williams, and then Megatron. I was like, well, we got it right eventually. Actually, Roy Williams was not bad.
In fairness,
Roy Williams was fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
in fairness,
for Dallas. So
yeah.
If they figured it out, I don't know if Stafford was there during that time, but the Roy Williams, Calvin Johnson, if they had a good quarterback, they could have figured something out during that time.
I think
Stafford
you had the
just
2 receivers.
Stafford just missed Roy Williams because he was in the Cowboys already, right?
Yeah, I think it was like they drafted them like 05, 06, 07, and then 08 was the
trade.
They traded them and they went 0-16, and then the 09 draft they drafted Stafford. I think that's what happened.
So I'm just saying in that scenario, but I also did look it up. Like I was just saying, the Lions host the Rams next year, so hopefully Stafford, they play respect to him next year. Give him some sort of you have to.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you have to.
He has faced them. They hosted them in 2001. So
in
2021, yeah, they hosted the Lions that year. So he did face the Lions. He hasn't been back to Detroit though, which he's going to do next year.
Charles Rogers was the guy's name.
I mean, It's gonna be
Carlos, wasn't that the cornerback?
It was a corner. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Carlos
I'm thinking immediately.
Rogers. Yeah, Junior, I think.
Or was it the other way around? I'm not because I'm trying to find this now, and maybe I just don't remember it this way. Maybe he was the first one.
Didn't they also take the kid out of
Maybe they just drafted them in other rounds.
Steve, I'll never forget my first ever Giant game. Joey Harrington came into the Meadowlands and won. It was my first ever Giant game.
Really?
Roy Williams was 2004. It was a 2004 draft. They took
Where did
Charles
they
Rogers
draft
with the second overall pick
in 2003?
2003.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what. So it was 03, 04, and then they waited a couple of years, and then 07 they took Megatron. Okay, got it. Who did they take in 08 is the question.
They took Mike Williams in 5.
Right, from USC.
Oh, USC Mike Williams.
Yes, and
Why
that
do they
was the
not have
same
a-
year. The pick right before that was Carlos Rogers, the cornerback from Auburn, went to Washington.
That's where that name is coming from. 2008 Detroit Lions. Why were they picking 17th? Jesus. They weren't good. Did they trade back?
They must have.
They had to have, right?
2006,
Okay.
they took Ernie Sims.
I don't feel like investigating the 2008 draft right now.
2007, they took Calvin Johnson. Boy, did they get lucky that Oakland loved Jamarcus Russell, huh?
They went 7-9 in 2007. Jeez. Anyway.
They got lucky that the Raiders loved Jamarcus Russell and his eating habits.
And this blank. Look at that. I mean, that's so Raiders. It's Jamarcus and then Calvin Johnson.
So I got a
It's
scenario.
just you could have had one of the Hall of Famers, and you took Jamarcus.
You could have took Joe Thomas to protect Joey Harrington's life.
Yeah.
And may have been able to go forward, but instead
There were 3
It's
Hall of Famers in this first round, and you didn't get any of them.
So
Plus
the
Patrick
reason-
Willis and Marshawn. Oh my God. Adrian Peterson. Oh, there's like 8 Hall of Famers in
So
this first round.
Vincent, to answer your question,
Go ahead.
Minnesota had the 17th overall pick, which traded its first round selection in 2 third-rounders and pick 182 to Kansas City for Jared Allen,
Wow.
who then traded that pick to Detroit. Detroit traded its first and third rounders. They were supposed to pick 15th that year. They traded to Kansas City for 17. And Detroit traded the 15th to move back 2 spots.
Yeah. They went 7-9 that year. So
Kansas City's second first round selection and a third round selection and a 5th round selection all in the same draft. So Kansas City had 2 picks in the first round in 2008.
Yeah, they took
But
nobody.
Jared Allen is the reason why Detroit Lions picked 17.
Of course he is. There was a time Jared Allen
And
was
they
the bane
took-
of my existence.
He got put in the Hall of Fame like last year or the year before that, right? Or no, he's not.
No, we were just talking about him.
Belongs
He's on
in.
the ballot. He's on the ballot right now. Jared
Oh,
Allen.
okay, yeah, he belongs in there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's a pain in my ass.
2008, Kenny Phillips, Danny.
Kenny fucking
What could have
Phillips.
been without the injuries?
Didn't he have that interception against Romo in the divisional round game that won it?
R.W. McQuarters.
No,
RW.
that was already McQuarters. My bad.
R.W. McQuarters. And his Nelly Band-Aid.
Right. RW McQuarters. We were talking about Jessica Simpson at work yesterday. So that's what made me think of that.
We were talking about
Romo game.
It's funny. One of my coworkers' son also works with us. And we were talking about championship runs. And I was talking about that. I was like, you don't even know that we had the picture of Terrell crying about Tony Romo on our wall during that entire playoff run after we beat him. Like, it was literally printed and on the wall by the television for the entire playoff run.
Did I tell you about the kid that I worked with who remembered Michael Vick as an Eagle?
Yes.
Good for him.
I
You
almost
didn't remember that Michael Vick was an Eagle?
No, I'm saying like he was
I
like, I'm an
did.
Eagle fan because of Michael Vick, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw you off the job because he's just not an Eagle, and that's just not how this works.
But he was a better Eagle than.
I know he was a much
Isn't
better
it
Eagle.
crazy
but it
that
still
he took the
hurts.
job from Nick Foles, who would go like 10 years later to win a Super Bowl for the Eagles?
Yeah, it doesn't make any. The Eagles don't make any sense.
If only they build a super team in 2011.
The dream team.
The dream team.
And I love how it was a dream team, and we were like including Vince Young in that process. Like
Yeah.
he's the backup quarterback.
Sadly, he beat the Giants that year.
He did beat the Giants. that game.
Excuse me.
Sunday
Not
Night
only did he beat
Football.
the Giants, he also chucked up a ball on the first play of that game, and it was Will
That's
Allen's
move.
first play of his career, and he made a pick.
Oh no,
and everyone got pumped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Prince, not Will Allen, Prince. And then
Why
from that moment on, Prince gave up 10 touchdowns a week.
What did you guys have so much trouble with Vince Young over the years?
That was the famous conflict.
It all went down.
You
know what? It all went downhill once Kiwanuka let him go. If he just didn't let him go, it would have never happened.
He was a stud that year.
That season, yeah, he had that like couple years, and then he like faded.
God. What a stupid.
I mean, in fairness to Kiwanuka, like he throws him to the ground, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Right.
It's a 15-yard penalty now.
It was really a no-win scenario for Kiwanuka.
That season was the most frustrating season for a team that was good and was just like, oh, it's just not happening this year.
Just like this team should Philly in the wild card. We had to go.
Yeah, it was like this team doesn't have it, but some way somehow they're in the last spot.
The Brian Westbrook game, right?
No, that was 03.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, yeah.
The playoff game I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
Brian Westbrook went off in one of the playoff games against.
I don't think. Oh, Westbrook's. Yeah, probably. They won on the last second field goal
against us.
Yeah, that was
never a game that Brian Westbrook didn't go off against us.
Yeah, and then
I still have the worst.
That was Tiki's last game. Yeah.
I still have the worst vision of the 2008 playoffs and Donovan McNabb running for a first down and falling on our sideline and picking up the phone. I still see that moment because that was the year we had the bye week. We were playing well, despite Plaxico shooting himself in the leg.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. I think I'm thinking of 2008. Let me see how Brian Westbrook did in that playoff game.
Because 2004 we won the division. Eli's first full year, we won the division. And got blown out in the wild card week by the Penguins.
Yeah.
That was the...
Nope, Brian Westbrook ran for nothing. How did you lose this game? Brian Westbrook ran 18 times for 36 yards. McNabb threw 2 picks, and you lost this game. What the fuck happened?
2005.
No, this is on the 2008 Plaxico shooting himself season.
We had no offense. What did we do offensively?
Well, that was
kicked field goals. That was it.
Well, hold on. The 2008 team?
Yes.
That was the year Derek Ward and Jacobs rushed for over 1,000 each.
But I'm saying in the playoff game, Brian Westbrook ran for 36 yards and McNabb threw 2 picks. And you lost.
20, no, we were throwing like passes to like Dominic
23
or whatever and washed up Monty Toomer, unfortunately.
Brandon Jacobs ran for 92 yards in this game, and somehow they didn't. This is just Kevin Boss was the leading receiver, and Dominic Hickson. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I brought this up. This is awful.
Fucking Blacks.
Fucking Blacks, man. Honestly.
That was the most dominating year I could, other than 2000, watching a Giants game.
We bring in Antonio Pierce to be the defensive coordinator. The first thing he needs to say in his press conference is, "I'm sorry for letting Plaxico wear sweatpants to the club."
Yeah.
That's the first thing he's got to say. Because he was with him. He could be like, bro, you really want to put your gun in the stairs up here?
I was at that Giant Ravens game, and we took the Ravens' soul. The bullies of the NFL, we took their soul.
That was the game where it was the number 1 rushing defense versus the number 1 rushing offense. And everyone's like, there's no way the Giants are going to rush against them. And we ran down their throats. I remember that game. It had to be like mid-October to mid-November, somewhere in that range of the season.
I just don't know. It's a perfect time to remind you guys that Eli Manning is overrated.
You're wrong, but it's okay.
Excuse me.
How many
you
times
went,
in the playoffs?
It's true.
You went how many years with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks with 2 total rings?
You know, for a guy who's supposed to be great in the playoffs, throwing for 169 yards and 2 interceptions is really
You throw
wonderful.
the ball to have Dominic Hickson and Kevin Boss as your only receivers.
Really great. 161 yards. Really wonderful.
He had 2 really good playoff
You're
runs.
in the playoffs, Vin. You're in the playoffs. We need you to win. You don't have to.
You're gonna get shut out in the playoffs this week, and then you're gonna keep telling
There's
us.
no. I mean, I guess there's definitely a shot to get shut out, but
I have a
Packers,
question. How would you feel when Jordan Love wins 2 Super Bowl rings and Favre and Rodgers both just combined have 2 rings?
Everything up until
and Jordan
this
Love
moment,
is just overrated forever.
Everything up until this moment tells me that Jordan Love is just a better human being than those two. So I'll be happy for him.
Until he's 38 years old and starts complaining that you're not paying him enough money and he doesn't want to be there anymore.
I don't know what happens when they get to 38 years old because
then you get traded to the Jets.
I don't. Just listen. If it's the cycle I'm destined for, I'm fine with it because there'll be a Jordan Love.
So you'll have one ring every 20 years.
That's honestly
more like every
perfect.
15.
See, that's perfect. That's like, oh man, that was so long ago, but I remember it as yesterday.
Correct. Right.
I could live with one championship every 15 years.
15-ish years, yeah.
I would obviously like more between that, but
right. Well,
but then again,
where was the Super Bowl that Favre won?
The Favre one, Superdome.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought they were both in Dallas.
No. Superdome.
You know, someone brought up the idea, I think it was on Twitter. Should the college football finals always be at the Rose Bowl?
Yes.
No, see, the thing with the Rose Bowl that's annoying, they have it like traditionalized that they like with the whole parade and day, it has to be on New Year's Day. So that's the thing with that.
I don't care. I don't care if it's the Rose Bowl. It needs to be at the stadium.
Right, you could still have the Rose Bowl.
Right. I don't care what
the championship game should be in that stadium every year.
I mean, money-wise, that doesn't work.
I'm sorry, watching that Rose Bowl this year, that dusk to night feel
it's
in a football game is just...
It's a top 5 venue in sports.
Yeah.
So it's like... And it's like, what was it? Oh, the other question is best Rose Bowl game since Texas, Alabama. Texas, USC.
I mean, that's not true.
I don't remember all of them.
No, we have the USC Penn State game with Saquon and Donald. That was a good one. A bunch of others, but
they said it was the most watched since that game.
Oh, most watched. Sorry, I misheard you. Damn.
Is it the best? I don't know. You guys know I don't watch much college football.
I think that LSU,
but it's the best football game I ever watched. So.
No, it was definitely up there.
I remember Danny and I were at the hockey game and we made it home for halftime because college football would start at 8:00 at night and take 5 hours to get through.
Right.
Those games.
I gotta watch that documentary again.
We were able to get back. Also, did you see how small the freaking luxury box was that they all had one box for celebrities at the fucking championship game?
They probably got to get a lot of boosters and shit their boxes, you know. Can't just pay JJ McCarthy with nothing.
He has his looks.
This is just adding to the
I guarantee you
going to have like one first-round pick.
He's going to go to that team that everybody's shocked.
No, but I'm saying, like, who's going to be the first-round pick for Michigan? Just the tackle?
They have The defensive tackles could go first round. Some people say Blake may go first round, but he could also go anywhere from 3rd to 4th round
There's
Yeah,
no
I
shot.
think-
because of his usage.
Yeah, I don't see the first round pick.
Yeah, so that's
It
what I'm
really
saying.
depends. Oh, the cornerback. They already said he's going for. There's no way he does. He falls the one who had the pick.
The LSU team had like 3 top 5 picks, plus Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. So is he gone now, Harbaugh? Think this is it?
You know, the quote he said the other day, the thing he said the other day was, normally we start our off-season program on February 14th because who doesn't love football? But this year we're going to start in March, which can go either one of two ways. If you're going to start your football program in March, that's the NFL. That's when the NFL starts their programs. They don't do anything in February. Basically, it's basically
such
Super
a
Bowl and then
Loser.
nothing
He's
until.
such a fucking loser. But a lovable loser.
Adam Schefter said it the best. It's got to be somebody that really makes him say, damn, this is a better situation than staying at Michigan. This is worth.
And he's
And if
gonna
he
have
does
some
go,
say in the front office too. Is rumored what his hold up as well.
it's his key. Like the owner's got to be like, here's the key. Here's my checkbook. I'm getting on a plane. Best of luck. Have a good time. I'll come back.
So I
when
think
there's
we
a problem.
still have to see how it plays out in the playoffs. Because if one of those teams fires their coach, like if Sirianni just it blows the fuck up in the playoffs,
He won't go.
and they're like, we got to get rid of this dude.
Fuck that shit. Shut the fuck up.
I'm just saying. Hand him the
can't
keys.
not root for
That
him.
team, that team plays like he wants to play.
Do they though? Because they suck.
They did at one point. They started doing it. I don't know what happened. I mean, they lost their offensive coordinator. Clearly, he was the glue holding everything together.
And their defensive coordinator.
And I'm shocked. I don't know about you guys. I was shocked when the escape rooms didn't help everything. I thought that was AJ Brown takes everybody to an escape room and all the problems are fixed.
Oh,
Jesus
my God.
Christ.
What about you mean putting the guy with the pencil in his hat wasn't to call the defensive plays wasn't the answer?
No, guess
Matt
not.
Patricia's not the answer to calling the defensive plays.
Oh my
Like,
God, Matt
The
Patricia.
best part is Mike Evans and Godwin could just light up the Eagles secondary, and that would be
They
it.
really could.
But
Yo, if Baker just
Baker.
owns them, I'll be
Yo.
so hyped.
Baker is going to put up 1,000 points. Did you see the picture of him warming up with the tin in his pads? Let's go. Like, this guy is like,
Oh my
everybody's
God.
like, yep. He's got the chew just chilling in his where his thigh pad is supposed to be.
I would say he's on one right now, but they had to score 9 points in a must-win game against the
Yeah.
Panthers. So I don't exactly know if it's likely for them to go in and light up the Eagles.
We do realize that they've won 3 straight division titles somehow.
Brady
Bucs.
for the last two.
Well, it was Brady for. Was it the last 2?
I would say 1.5.
I don't know when he retired. I can't.
Last year.
It was just.
He made
this
the
season,
joke
right?
that he almost
This
came
season
back
he's been
this year.
gone.
He made the joke that he was going to unretire in like May, but his friends threw him a retirement party and he felt bad, so he didn't want to do it.
It's just so
That's the next
confusing.
head coach in
They were the
Michigan.
wild card team when
Right.
they beat in 2020 because the Saints
Right.
owned them in the season.
Right. And then last year they did win the division. They were under 500. They won the division and they lost to the Cowboys.
Mhm.
Okay.
Who then went to San Francisco and let Elliott play center because they were going to release him at the end of the year anyway.
That was his
Because
last
that was
play
the
as a
genius
Cowboy.
play.
That was
That was the genius. That was
No,
Mike
that was in
McCarthy's
San Fran.
genius. That was in San Fran.
Yeah.
San Fran was the 2.
Yeah, San Fran was the 2 last year.
I could have sworn that play was in Dallas. That's
No.
weird.
Can you imagine they ran that play in Dallas?
That's
That was
like
Everybody in the building would have
picturing
been
it in my
shocked.
head.
Bolton, Schultz, and Elliott's last play as Cowboys.
Because they
Yeah,
lost
but
the
at least
game.
Bolton Schultz lined up where he was supposed to.
They lost the game to the Niners in Dallas 2 years ago with
Right.
Jimmy. That's
Jimmy.
what it was.
And Dak forgot how to slide and forgot.
Right, that was the stupid one, and then they
That
couldn't
was
get
the
ball to
play
line.
where Dak forgot to slide,
Right.
and then the
No,
lineman
he
put the
slid,
ball
but they
down.
couldn't spot the ball. Yes.
Right.
Oh my god. It's cliche, and listen, I know it? Mike McCarthy doesn't lose normal. If they lose, it's a catastrophe. Every time, it's a catastrophe.
Do you think his job is really on the line? Like,
It's the
His
Cowboys.
job with Jerry is always on the line at all times.
I don't think Jerry's ever let anybody not be on the line. I mean, Wade Phillips lasted longer than Mike McCarthy may last.
That's a good point. But again, this is what
And
I go
so
back
is
to
Jason
what I
Garrett.
just said.
Jason
Jason
Garrett, too.
Garrett, forget it. Yeah.
If Jordan Love
Jason-
goes in there and knocks them off, you can't tell me Jerry doesn't pick up the phone and call Michigan and be like, Jim, look what I
he
got
doesn't
here.
know. He's going to call Saban before he's so old, he'll call Saban
Okay.
before he calls.
He'll call him to get Jim's number. I don't know. Or Steven. Steven's in charge now. He can call Jim. I don't think they'll fire Mike, though. But
Nah.
you could
I
anything's fucking possible.
I said he won't get fired, but his leash won't be long. If they struggle next season, there'll be a problem.
If they lose this game, I could see that being the spot for Vrabel. Because Dan Quinn's gone. I think Dan Quinn's finally. I think he's finally going to take a job. He's probably going to be in Seattle.
Dan Quinn goes back to Seattle.
Right.
That's where he became who he is. He's going to go back there.
Vrabel takes the head coaching spot and runs that defense continually. And they got him. I mean, they have an offensive coordinator. It's fucking Brian Schottenheimer, but they could get another one.
You know, it's crazy. Nobody talks about any. Well, Glenn is getting interviews, but nobody's talking about any of the Lions coordinators.
No,
The Lions coordinators, the Niners coordinators aren't getting spoken about again this year.
Oh, Ben Johnson's going to go to the Raiders. I mean, the Commanders.
The offensive coach?
Yeah.
From San Fran?
No, from Detroit. Ben
Okay.
Johnson. Yeah, he's a hot name actually. So I don't know.
They gave
lot of people-
Kawhi Leonard another contract.
I missed that today. Wow.
Clippers star Kawhi Leonard has signed a 3-year, 150. This guy needs $153 million more.
There has to
That's
be
the way the
some,
NBA works.
It must be some crazy out or something insane for him to extend, I guess.
There's some sort of 15% trade kicker. So if they trade him, he gets 15% more. The other was like last night, Devin and I were talking Spoelstra, $80 million for another 8 years.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
This summer will start. He's in the process of being in year 15 as their head coach. And probably should have been fired 10 times.
I don't know about that. They've been to multiple finals now, like 5.
I'm shocked LeBron let him last through losing that first final.
I think because Pat Riley has a say.
Yeah.
He's probably the only one.
Just insane to think about. Now he's going to be there at least another more. Could be there another 8 years.
But as we all know, like once LeBron left again, it was like, okay, let's see how good Spoelstra is now. And it was always, okay, yeah. The way he's coaching and getting these guys to play with a washed up Wade and stuff like that. Yeah, he has it. And like, it's cool to see him get that second lap around after, okay, he had LeBron, he had Wade, he had the big three. Now it's guys that, okay, Jimmy's great, Hero's good, and like other couple guys, blue guys that you're just like, oh, okay. It's cool to get his praises now.
How long is Butler? Oh, he's got another year and then a player option for Butler. Is Cleveland bad this year?
They're in the middle. I think Mitchell's
Yeah, they're in
hurt.
the mix. They're in that mix, and if
Or- He
probably
either got hurt or he is hurt.
Okay, because I was reading something today that Mitchell apparently was giving in a short list of teams he wants to be traded to.
oh, here we go again.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Miami's
felt
on the top of his list, by the way. You'll be surprised to know.
Yeah, shocking.
Tax free, babe.
Alrighty.
Goddamn Wizards.
What? You bet the Wizards tonight?
I had a free bet on FanDuel. So I
Oh.
did like a free bet and a boost on like a in-game live game parlay. So I took a bunch of money lines of early games.
Got it.
I would have lost also Miami and OKC. Okay, whatever. All right. So game you're looking forward to this weekend the most.
I'm gonna say Rams Lions. And I think that game could have the most fireworks in terms of offensive shootout.
Outside of my game,
Yeah.
probably. I want to say Dolphins Chiefs, but
Unless you have Peacock, you can't watch it anyway.
I have Peacock, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably going with that one.
I think I'm going to Miller's Saturday night, so I'll just be on there anyway.
Which Millers?
Islanders are having a viewing party for their game in Nashville at Miller's in Levittown Saturday night.
Nice.
So Dave and I were talking about we could also watch football.
Thanks for telling me.
That Texans game, Texans Cleveland, is going to be very intriguing.
It could be fun.
Yeah.
Can Stroud stand up against this defense? Can Flacco continue?
I don't
Are
think
you guys
so.
excited to watch Flacco in Baltimore as a Brown?
That would be something.
Would that line up? I mean, I guess it could. Right? If they win,
They're the
then
5. So if they're the 5,
they're the 4. Oh no, they're the 5. So if they win and the friggin'
the
Bills
Chiefs
win.
and if the Chiefs and Bills win,
yes, the Chiefs and Bills would have to win, and then
they win, they're going to.
They would go to Baltimore.
I'm nervous about Baltimore.
You're nervous about them?
They make you nervous every year. Every year they're nerve-wracking.
Lamar having 2 weeks off.
I don't like the 2 weeks off thing they did. The Niners did it too. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, but it makes more sense for the Niners because their guys are banged up. They have a lot more banged up guys. Like McCaffrey had the calf injury, so him being out was smart. Purdy hasn't been 100%. They said the last month of the season.
It just doesn't.
Resting his arm wasn't the worst idea in the world. And as you know, defenses don't really rest. I think their defense, giving them rest on their defense, is going to make them faster.
I have faith in those two coaches. I just don't love 2 weeks off.
No, I agree because it usually takes a half to get really acclimated to a team that played. Wasn't beat up badly the prior week.
Would playing a half week 17 help? I don't even know.
Probably
I think
not.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what's the answer?
There's no right or wrong answer because we've seen both things happen. You're just like, I would probably more of an old school person. I would probably play like a half because if he gets hurt, what team was that last year or 2 years ago? They played their quarterback and he got hurt. And it was like, oh no, what do you guys do? I think it was a couple years ago. I don't remember the team.
Wasn't it the Eagles? Wasn't it Hurts?
No. They just did that now.
Yeah, they did.
Wasn't it Washington? Wasn't it Washington and what's his name had to come in and play the game? Heineke had to play. Wasn't that the COVID year? Washington was playing
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
else.
You might be
Yeah.
right because Heineke had to play that game against the Pats.
Yeah,
Not
and
the
they
Pats.
covered. That was
And he
crazy.
played well enough where everybody was like, "Yeah,
Right.
this is the greatest
Not
next
the Bucks.
quarterback ever." And then
it was Brady. It
they
wasn't the
realized-
Pats. It was the Bucks. But yeah.
Washington Commanders 2020. Who was that? Who was that quarterback on that team?
Alex Smith.
Yeah, that was his leg game. That had to
No,
be,
he got
right?
hurt earlier
No,
in
that
the
was the
year.
comeback. Yeah,
it was
that's
the comeback
right.
from the
That's
leg.
Comeback.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I think we heard him, Steve. Right?
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Alex
I
Smith.
think
The
that game we
2020 season
might have
was
heard
the
him.
Oh,
Matt.
we like knocked him out. We didn't like hurt him, but we knocked
No,
him
that
out.
we weren't the injury team, but we definitely heard him.
The Texans were the injury team.
Yeah.
Stats. They played. No, Alex Smith did play that final game,
Okay.
and he played the full game.
And why didn't he play the
Jalen
playoffs?
played that full game too, but they didn't make the playoffs that year, 2020.
Yes, they did.
I don't know. Who knows?
They won the division at 7-9. I'm looking.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking idiot.
2020, Washington won the division.
Yeah,
COVID
21.
year was
They won.
21. They won the division.
But that's what I'm saying. I know Heineke played that game.
The NFC East has not had back-to-back winners since Andy Reid coached the
That's so
Eagles.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, we were in high school.
It's
did
absolutely
Jalen
insane to
play
think
this game?
that was the last time that they had back-to-back winners in the NFC East.
It's
And-
stupid.
It just goes
And
to
it-
show you how good the Eagles and Cowboys always are.
I guess
Hey,
they just
we
keep
had,
going
like,
back
one
and
in
forth, right?
We have three. Yeah, we have three. Right?
And Washington has a couple, I think. At least
Yeah,
more. At
Washington
least
might have more than us, I think.
No. I doubt it.
winners since 2000. NFC East champions.
Us.
Giants, Eagles. 03, 04 was the last back-to-back. Giants in 05. That was the year we lost to Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles in 06. That was the year we went to Philly for the wild card game. 07, we beat Dallas in the division. 08, the Eagles came to us. 09 was Cowboys. So 1, 2, 3 Giants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Eagles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Cowboys. 1, 2, 3 Washington.
Oh, we
So we're
tied.
tied with Washington. Yeah, there was a stretch from 16 to 19 where it was Cowboys, Eagles flip-flopping each year.
All right. I gotta go to bed.
With that being said, enjoy the playoffs this weekend, everybody. Make sure you get Peacock or go find someplace to find that game.
Yeah. Find a bar.
Somewhere.
They'll have it.
And we will see you guys next week.
Go back.